Hi, and welcome back here on the Senior Network. Always, as usual, having a great time with the two of you. Heather, what's new with Right at Home?
Well, the biggest, newest thing, if that's a sentence, is that Right at Home is going to become JCAHO certified in skilled nursing, which is very exciting for me, being the Director of Quality Assurance. Wow. So yeah, so it's going to be a big transition, but obviously it will give us more, I don't want, clout maybe isn't the right word, but...
well, any accreditation, I think the way we see it is, you know, all the hospitals and most everyone's JCAHO, so that's why we decided to go with JCAHO.
Yeah.
And we felt like, you know, we're surveyed by the state, both in South Carolina and Georgia, so we have a lot of regulations, but JCAHO, if we start working with, will come in and kind of work with us instead of always having to work with the states. More of a partner, if you will, to get through the process. And that just really makes for the delivery of care better, you know, for our patients.
And that's our goal, is to have, you know, the best delivery of care so that we can obviously exceed our already very high standards and make us, you know, just that much more outstanding in the community. And when we work with, obviously, the hospices and home healths, and so it's, you know, it's an exciting time.
So next year this time we'll be there. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, I know in a staff meeting the other day we were talking about. Now, Tamara, you can appreciate this too. Nutrition seems to be a hot topic in our world these days. Tell us a little bit about, with Right at Home, I mean, what are we doing as far, I know we're monitoring the situation, obviously, but are we bringing in cooks or ordering food in? What are we doing to help with folks? We
can do all of that. A lot of it depends on their economic availability. We definitely have brought in cooks. There's things in the community, Meals on Wheels, and what's the other one? Gourmet Express, gourmet something like that.
And gourmet wheels and all that stuff.
Yeah. So depending on, and then of course we have caregivers that some love to cook.
Sure. And they can cook.
And they can cook. Very. The other thing is hydration. So especially as we're coming into the hot season of the Low Country, water and Gatorade and those kinds of things are really important. As we all know, the elderly can, you know, become dehydrated very quickly.
Sure.
And so we really need to encourage them to drink water. Of course, if there's a medical issue like, you know, kidney problems or whatever, we can't. But, you know, that seems to be a biggie.
Well, like you said, the summertime, and I know that, you know, the golfers always tend to move it up earlier and earlier in the day because it gets so hot. But they still have to stay hydrated. I mean, 8 o'clock in the morning out there, that humidity and heat, you need to have fluid all the time.
Yeah.
You really do.
So that's important for us.
I know we all work together a lot. From a day-to-day basis, because I'm curious, Tamara, when you get a call and say you refer Heather and you guys are going to start working together, you actually have a nursing staff that will physically go out to the home, right, to start with?
Yes, with the referral process is that we'll send out a nurse to do an in-home assessment to get more information, because over the phone you can only ascertain so much.
Yeah.
Being in the home, you can really see what the need is, and as I said before, it could be just a debility or caregiver burden. And when we get in there, we can assess, and I talk to the nurse, she reports back to me, this is what I'm seeing, she's really not maybe hospice appropriate, and then that's when I would call Heather and say, hey, I've got a situation, or even Neil.
Sure.
And you guys have always been very responsive, which is really helpful, because in those situations, we need it like yesterday. When they're calling me, it's usually dire straits, and you know.
Speaking of that, how long from when they call you to when the nurse goes out?
Oh, within 24 hours usually.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so it's really easy.
It's a quick
it could be the same day even.
Okay.
It just depends, you know. If the hospital's calling, of course, we're out that same day within the hour usually. But if it's someone within 24 hours, it's just getting the doctor's orders, getting that piece done. But the nurses are really good about, you know, getting out there and then reporting back to me and finding out what this family needs. You know, is it something that I need to call maybe just a regular home health agency? You know, sometimes I do a lot of referrals that way too, because we have a palliative care program that doesn't meet the patient's needs. Maybe it's just a regular home health situation or caregiver. And usually with you guys, again, when it's a caregiver issue, it's really a dire straits.
Yeah.
situation, and usually families need more, you know what I'm seeing, and you guys come out and be like, oh, well, they only want a couple hours, even though they could really benefit from more.
You and I have had that
We've
experience
had
a
that
lot.
experience. So, and Heather will be like, oh, they really only want an hour or two, and then I'd go behind and try to talk to a family
convince
some
them,
more to
yeah.
say, this is really about, you know, we need to do more. So we work together very closely about that, and it brings it all together for the families. It really does. And sometimes it's a work in progress. Sometimes it doesn't happen right away, and we have to call you guys in a couple of times. Yeah.
Baby steps, yeah.
Well, it's
Exactly.
getting the people comfortable with the idea of having strangers in the home,
Yeah.
if you will.
Right.
I mean, it is different.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know with Right at Home that you guys spend a lot of time with your training and trying to find the appropriate caregivers for those settings, because you have to be able to adapt to that setting. And tell us a little bit about that. I know you guys work together with classes, I think. Yeah.
Yep, we do some of that too. When we go out for our initial assessment, you know, you try to get a feel for, you know, what kind of people are they? Quiet? Are they loud? Are they, you know, their personalities? What, you know, our big thing is find 3 things that the client likes to do, and you know, we try to match that up. It's not a perfect science, and I always tell people that I have the best caregiver, and then they'll say, you know, Heather, I don't like him. So now I don't ever say that anymore.
Well, it's personality.
That's
like
right.
you said, I know
That's
it's
right.
got to be just as good a match for the
Yep.
caregiver as the family, or it's not going to work.
That's right. And so I always now tell the family, this is a work in progress. I'll work with you, and you know, you have to give me feedback, and you know, it doesn't matter what the reason is, but I want it to work, and I want to make this a good experience for both of us.
Yeah, and I know typically, like you said, a lot of yours is urgent, right on the spot. We don't have a lot of time to do that, but if we do, I know you guys spend a lot of time with that introduction of care and so forth. Well, hold the thought. As usual, we're out of time. We'll be right back. Thank you.